Bright colors have been known to transform towns and take them from drab and dreary to a masterpiece. A good example is the post-communist city of Tirana, which was filled with crumbling tower blocks, but has now transformed into a colorful capital with splashes of red, blue, green, and pink. We can't deny that the world is filled with beautiful hues that can leave you in awe. So here's our pick of the most colorful cities in the world. Welcome to our channel, where we share with you all of the amazing places on this planet to put on your bucket list. If you're new here, we know you're going to like it here. And if you're a subscriber, thank you for coming back. Without further ado, let's head straight into the topic of today's video. But be sure to stick around to the end, so you don't miss out on one of the coolest and most unique places we discovered in Romania. Number 10. Nyhavn, Denmark. Anyone visiting Copenhagen can make the most of their trip with a stop at the colorful town of Nyhavn. This historical harborside town is known for being one of the most attractive places in Denmark, and it's hard not to agree with this while staring at the brightly colored, traditional Danish buildings. You'll be welcomed by rows of multi-hued townhouses alongside a straight canal, with some bridges linking them together. Of course, it's not surprising that this is a hotbed of history, considering that many of these houses were built as far back as the 17th and 18th centuries. If you're a huge fan of timeless stories like The Snow Queen, The Little Mermaid, and The Ugly Duckling, all these stories that became movie adaptations at Disney, you'll be happy to know that the author of these incredible stories was from Denmark, Hans Christian Andersen, who lived in one of the colorful houses for several years. There are lots of lively restaurants and cafes around the harbor, and you can end your day with a Love Canal tour, which is just as relaxing as it sounds. Number 9. Boekop, Cape Town. This picturesque city in Cape Town stands tall on the slopes of Signal Hill, majestically above the city center. Boekop has always been a top choice for anyone looking for a colorful destination, so they can add thousands of new pictures to their Instagram feed. Locally, it is known as the Malay Quarter, as it is mostly inhabited by descendants of Malaysian, Sri Lankan, Indonesian, and Indian slaves. They arrived at Boekop in the 17th and 18th century through the Dutch East India Trading Company, and their generations have made this town their home ever since. However, the sad history doesn't reflect in the bright and vibrant buildings on both sides of the narrow streets. Number 8. Burano, Italy. Colors have always had an amazing effect on emotions, and staring at the beautiful houses in Burano evokes nothing but joy. However, it's not just about the vibrant colors of all the houses beside the canal. These painted houses were painted so that they glow slightly during the day and become more vibrant in darkness. Through this, the fishermen who live in this small town used the brightly painted houses to find their way home whenever there was fog all over the island. Meanwhile, the houses are a clever contrast with the canal, which reflects the colors of the sky. It's not surprising that tourism is the major part of the economy in Burano, and the locals always welcome visitors who love to spend a few days enjoying authentic Italian food and listening to amazing music. Number 7. Chefchaouen, Morocco. Love to take pictures? Then you'll definitely appreciate the blue city of Chefchaouen in Morocco. You could call it the Santorini of Morocco, with its buildings, stairs, alleys, and narrow roads painted in stunning blue. This city is located in the northwest part of Morocco, surrounded by mountains. However, the blue colors are not just an aesthetic choice, but have spiritual implications for the locals. They believe that blue represents heaven, and painting more than a few houses in this color is a great way to endorse that belief. The people here are friendly, and some will actually share that at some point in the 1970s, painting houses blue went from being spiritual to a more focused trend of attracting more tourists. Anytime you take a trip to Chefchaouen, be sure to stick around to watch the vendors create beautiful crafts, and you'll definitely find a souvenir or two to take home. Number 6. St. John, Canada. Known as the oldest city in Canada, St. John, in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador, is filled with numerous multicolored houses sprinkled in various vantage points around the city. Sometimes called the Jelly Bean Row Houses for obvious reasons, St. John is the only city located on the shores of the Bay of Fundy, and that comes with some huge perks. One of them is the opportunity to witness the uniqueness of the bay as its high tides collide with the St. John River. When this happens, it leads the river moving in the reverse direction, while creating whirlpools and rapids, and it's definitely an unforgettable thing to witness. You might also get to see some of the rarest whales in the world here, as well as dinosaur fossils. There are other attractions at St. John, including trails at Rockwood Park and a bustling city center. Number 5. Kulusuk, Greenland. There's no shortage of colorful houses in Greenland, transforming what would otherwise have been a bleak landscape. The settlement of Kulusuk is the perfect example of a little town that looks extraordinary due to its splashes of color. If you manage to go there, be sure to also check out the huge icebergs in the Denmark Strait. And if hiking is your thing, head to the east of Greenland, where there are some magnificent mountains that you can climb if you're feeling more than a little adventurous. Number 4. Palermo, Brazil. Palermo, located in Salvador, which is a city located on Brazil's Bahia coast, is a blast from the past, as this historic center is a city of magnificent colors of the colonial-era buildings. There's something unique about the buildings lined on the cobbled streets and squares. The beauty of Palermo is also heavily influenced by the fact that it was the first colonial capital, and most of the historic houses date as far back as the 17th century and are still standing. It's a bright and amazingly chaotic mix of both the old and the new. Consider visiting this city during carnivals, as these are when the streets light up with more decorations, and you can join the happy dancing and festivities all day long. Number 3. Jodhpur, Rajasthan. Deserts are not usually known to grow beautiful things, but this city, which is just at the edge of the barren Thar Desert, is as beautiful as ever. Jodhpur was once the capital of the Kingdom of Marwar, and being a cultural capital meant that the people paid a lot of attention to building structures that still stand strong to this day. We're talking about imposing forts, beautiful palaces, and temples that have been around for centuries. In the last 100 years, millions of feet have graced these massive structures, but the most distinctive feature of Jodhpur is the blue-washed colors of the buildings. These structures are clustered underneath the walls of the Mehrangarh Fort, which sits on a mount above the city. So why is the color of the city blue? Well, according to legends, local priests believed that it was an auspicious color for Jodhpur, and once they started, they just couldn't stop. Number 2. Sighisoara, Romania. Known for its wonderful walled old town, Sighisoara is a popular tourist town in Romania that continues to welcome people from all parts of the world. So if you are on vacation in Romania, it's a great idea to stop by to admire the lovely buildings and medieval architecture. Due to the history of this city, it is listed as a UNESCO site in the heart of Transylvania. An afternoon walk around this village will reveal its delightful, quaint artisan shops and restaurants, cleverly hidden by the colorful ancient churches, watchtowers, and townhouses. Sighisoara is also tied to a mythical legend of Vlad, the Impaler, where he was reportedly born. We all know that he is the inspiration for Dracula, a legend we still remember today. Several locals will be willing to tell you more about the myths surrounding the charming streets in the magical city of Sighisoara. Speaking of Romania, did you know that it was one of the best places in the world if you want to get scared out of your wits? If you have a friend who is never afraid of anything, you should consider taking them to visit the Baciu Forest in Cluj-Napoca. This place is so eerie that it is considered the most paranormal region in the world. Even being a few meters away is enough to get you spooked. Just in time for Halloween, right? Number 1. Guatepe, Colombia. Next up is the lovely city of Guatepe, located in Antioquia, Colombia. The town is filled with brightly colored tile buildings that perfectly depict the culture of this area, with multiple animal designs and signs and shapes on them. There's a meaning to every design, and that's part of what makes this city incredibly interesting. However, there's a lot more to do in this city than admiring its wonderful architecture. Top on our list of recommendations is to go on a kayak boat ride in the calm waters nearby, and be sure to eat some great local food while downing it with their rich dark coffee. So which place was your favorite? Comment below. And if you enjoyed this video, you are definitely going to love this other video from our channel. Be sure to like and subscribe if you want more content like this. See you soon, and until then, bon voyage.